Let's now take you to South Africa, where Thulani Mngomezulu, one of the defense lawyers in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, has died. His family confirmed in a statement that he passed away on Tuesday. He represented Muzi Sibiya, one of the 5 men accused of killing the former Orlando Pirates and Bafana captain 10 years ago. Advocates Mngomezulu testified last year, raising concerns about his safety. Earlier this year, he informed the court that he believed his life was in danger after 2 suspicious individuals visited his residence. He had been following court proceedings from home due to ill health. Meanwhile, the trial has been postponed to January 8, 2025 for a special sitting, with the case resuming on January 20. And now to discuss this, we are joined by Elton Romeo Hart, an attorney with the University of Johannesburg Law Clinic, and it joins me from Johannesburg. Thank you so much, Elton, for joining us.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers up in the West.
Thank you so much. Now, given that this is one of the most closely followed trials in South Africa and globally, how have South Africans reacted to this latest story of the passing of such a high-profile defense lawyer?
No, there is mixed feelings amongst the South African population, because obviously there is South Africans that feel that these 5 accused is the man that's responsible for the death of our former Bafana captain, Senzo Meyiwa. And there's some people that is like of the view that these 5 guys is not really the right accused to stand trial for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. And so you have these 2 sides to the coin. But obviously, as a legal practitioner, Thulani Mngomezulu was a colleague to all of us who's legal practitioners in South Africa. And we sort of feel it because it's a loss for the legal profession, and also it's a loss to his family. And obviously, in his own right, he was a good legal practitioner, and he did what he could do for his client up until he could no longer due to ill health. But there is mixed feelings, and obviously there's some South Africans that felt like the judges were now, or Judge Rata Mokgotleng was very disrespectful to the man at some stages, and now suddenly wants to observe a moment of silence in court. So there is that 2 opposite sides of the spectrum, and then you obviously get the South African that just says, okay,
but during the course of his trial,
they're not saying anything about it.
Okay, Elton, during the course of the trial, he raised concerns about his safety. At that point, couldn't security details have been, isn't it possible that security details should have been provided for him? And do you think that would actually, skew the possibility of this particular case being in favor of those accused?
No, indeed, he raised concerns about his security, his safety, and stuff like that. But normally what happens in South Africa is like if the prosecutors or the judges feel that their life is being threatened, they would normally get assistance from the state with security detail to just make sure that the perimeter and maybe a patrol car outside the house to just ensure. But when it comes to the defense lawyers, it's the legal practitioners, that courtesy is not extended that far. He raised concerns. The only thing that he could have done is to maybe to go and open a case at the police station, make them aware, and ask them to patrol. But there would not be a right that he can actually enforce to say, listen, due to the nature of my work, I feel that I'm being threatened. And a lot of defense attorneys over the years were shot. Like we had colleagues down in Cape Town that were shot by people, gangsters. So with the defense lawyers or the practitioners, that right or that courtesy is not extended to them. So that is the problem that we have in South Africa. But when it comes to the judges and the prosecutors, they do get that protection as part of the job perks, if one can put it that way, that they would get if they feel like their life is threatened due to a case that they're handling.
Okay, so let's talk about Muzi Sibiya. Should he consider appointing one of the existing defense lawyers already working on the case, or would you advocate that he brings in maybe a new lawyer? Probably that would be beneficial for him in this case.
I would say that he can take one of them, but if I was Muzi Sibiya, I would have appointed a new legal practitioner. That new legal practitioner would be given all the transcripts, and if there's questions that that new legal practitioner feels that was not canvassed with a specific witness that the state has put on the stand, he can ask that that specific witnesses be recalled so that they can actually cross-examine them. So I would think you should go for a new practitioner. That would give him a better chance, because there is things that I was of the view that some of the practitioners maybe due to not having the necessary information available, could not canvass these points with some of the witnesses. But now that it's there, he can now, or it can now be canvassed with these witnesses. And I would suggest he goes that way, but he can also appoint one of the current guys in the interest of not delaying the thing. But he also needs to check what is in my best interest to put up my best defense. And I would opt to have a new practitioner come on board so that he has that transcripts and that second bite at the cherry, if one uses that word loosely.
Well, it's quite interesting, Elton, that the lead investigator claimed that certain statements tendered during the course of the trial did not need further investigation. In your own opinion, is that actually justified, or probably that's an attempt to probably cover up something?
No, for me, I don't trust the lead investigator. People can crucify me for that, but that guy, I've never trusted his way of investigating this case. Why was there two dockets in the first place, docket 375 and this 636? Why was that there? Why was there two different teams? Why, if one team says there's a different narrative, why do we not investigate them both? Why do you only stick to one narrative? And for me, there's too many loose ends that he's trying to cover up. And then when he's asked and probed under cross-examination, then he says, but he cannot testify. But when the state led him, he was so open and willing to testify about cell phone data and how the data was and what does it say. But when he's cross-examined, he say, I did not, and the court is protecting him in that regard. So for me, I do not trust this guy's way of handling the investigation. He might be a brigadier, but I do not trust him. And I think there is more to this case. And the mere fact that he said in court that Kelly Khumalo was supposed to be accused number 6, and he had the information on the confessions back then. Why did he not arrest her? Even that arrest warrant, why did he not pursue her? Because he pursued these guys very hard. Why not her? And also Longwe, if that is the case, because the photos that was on the phones. So for me, I don't trust these guys, and people can fight with me about it, but that's my view as a practitioner.
Oh, well, Elton, it seems as though this particular case has dragged on for too long with a lot of questions that need to be answered. But then considering the evidence presented in the court so far, do you believe that the state has built a strong case? Probably there's a way that we can come to a conclusion soon. Or maybe there are some state actors that actually have vested interest in this case. I don't want to see to get put to bed and justice being served.
No, for me, the thing is, like, a lot of the state's case is built on circumstantial evidence. Even the ballistics evidence, I would have, but obviously we'll have to wait for the defense team to bring their ballistic expert. And I feel like just because there was tampering with that ballistics evidence, the bag was not sealed, there was tampering with the crime scene. So it's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but as it looks now, and the way I could see the judge react to certain lines of cross-examination by the defense teams, I can see that sort of, and also by him allowing the confessions to stand, I can see that the state didn't have a case, but the confessions help the state's case now. And I can see that there is a maybe 70-30 chance that they are getting convicted on this case, but obviously there's good grounds for appeal. And for me, I think if the defense comes, they need to now be very clear as to what evidence they're going to put before court. But obviously with Sibiya having this opportunity to get a new defense lawyer, I think he should use that option, and it might open up some other things. And I believe that there is higher powers that is involved in the investigation of this case.
All right, Elton Romeo Hart, thank you so much for sharing this profound knowledge with us on the news.